everybody, and welcome to this video on the new moon in Capricorn 2021. This is the first new moon of 2021 and it is on the 12th or the 13th of January, depending where you are in the world. If you're watching this in UK time, it is at 5 a.m. on the 13th of January. This first new moon of the year is a powerful one. And it is indeed a follow-up of everything that we learned and everything that we lost in 2020. A new moon is a new beginning. It is a time of reflection, meditation, retreat, rest, looking inward in order to move forward. It's a time where we reflect on the past and the lessons and we plant the seeds for the future. Because this is in Capricorn, and Capricorn is the sign most associated with 2020. We had the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn. We had the 3 Jupiter-Pluto conjunctions in Capricorn, and we had multiple eclipses in Capricorn in 2020. It really is a time of reset. Taking into account what you learned, especially because of Saturn being in the picture. Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn, thus the ruler of this new moon. And Saturn is currently in Aquarius as part of the new era. Now, because of this Capricorn energy, we're being asked to reflect on what it is in 2020 that we picked up, what we learned. Hopefully we learned something, because we went through a lot. And with this energy, thanks to the new moon conjunct Pluto, we can transform. We can have a new beginning that really is quite quiet on the outside, but deeply very powerful and very transformative. In fact, with Pluto in the mix, this new moon asks you very much to consider your relationship with power, your relationship with authority figures, with governments, with father figures, patriarchal energy. It's very much to do with how much power you feel you have inside. And with the new moon, because of Pluto, a lot of repressed feelings might come to the surface. A lot of feelings that we have around power and control, or our lack thereof, will rise, and it will shed a light on it thanks to the sun also being conjunct Pluto. So as the moon moves away from the sun with this new moon, it's an emotional new beginning. It's a complete emotional new beginning, and it is a beautiful time to start new projects based on what you learned in 2020. And especially for those of you who, as I think many people are, having very, different situations depending what's going on with them or what country they're in, but in terms of your career and your long-term goals, where there has been loss or where there has been turbulence, this is really a beautiful new moon to set intentions for your career goals. And one of the ways to do that, because we oftentimes focus with manifesting what's in our head externally, we focus on what we don't have yet. But one of the best things you can do with this new moon in Capricorn is focus on the things that you're actually good at now, that you take for granted, your skill set, your talents, what it is that's unique to you, and focus on them in order to build upon them. Capricorn is very career and goal oriented, and although Pluto is going to remain there shaking up this energy for the next couple of years, it's very important to weed out what's not working for you anymore in terms of your goals, in terms of your career, figure out some patterns that are holding you back. Pluto is very much based on psychology, on our past, on our shadow self, and with the sun conjunct Pluto, it's a beautiful time to find power in your shadow. And that's not to say doing anything that is corrupt, because those type of energies will be exploited, they'll be exposed with this. But I'm saying to use the things that you forget about, that you do take for granted, that go into your shadow, from childhood, your talents, your personality traits that maybe society deemed unacceptable or your family deemed unacceptable, and things that are really where your power actually is. It's very much about taking back your power in a big way, this new moon, that I think with Pluto in the mix, it is very much to do with focusing on your future and transforming where you are now emotionally. It really is a brand new beginning. It's a very powerful new beginning. It's very much to do with embracing the new, but also paying homage and respect to the old and what you've learned. You know, it's not a clean slate entirely. It is about bringing forward the lessons, particularly those learned in 2020. Now, this is going to manifest very differently for all the different zodiac signs. It's really very powerful for some of the earth signs. We have Venus trine Mars around this time as well. Venus is in Capricorn, Mars is in Taurus, which means that it's a beautiful new moon to start a skincare regime, a new diet, fashion, selling old fashion, buying vintage fashion, that type of thing. Anything that's sustainable, anything that's quite, you know, unique, because Uranus is in the picture. Mars and Uranus are conjunct in Taurus. It's a beautiful time for nourishment, to begin healthcare routines that are very sustainable and healthy for you, to connect you to the earth. It's a beautiful new moon to stay grounded, to put your feet on the earth, depending on where you are, because we just had snow where we are, so you can't really put your bare feet on the earth. I mean, you could, but it would be pretty chilly. So this is a very important time for you to start something that is good for you, that can transform you, because with Pluto in the mix, whatever seeds you're sowing can really transform your life or your personality on a very, very important, a way with depth is the way that I want to put this. A way with depth and a way with meaning and a real deep transformation. You know, not a slight one, not a flighty, superficial, I just got a haircut kind of thing. It would be getting a haircut and feeling like a completely different person. It would be getting a haircut, and as we know, the hair in many people's beliefs contains feelings and emotions and knowledge. So a lot of people after breakups, for example, get their hair cut. That's commonly because they're trying to get rid of certain energy from the past. It's that type of transformation rather than just a trim per se. With Pluto in the mix, in terms of your emotions, but also in terms of your ego, it is a little bit of a death of the ego. It is about letting certain things, fear-based behaviours and feelings that hold you back. It is very much to do with going off on a new adventure as a new person. Like when you go to university or you go to college, wherever you are, and if it's in a different state, even if it's in a different country, you can decide that if you're going there and you don't know anybody, nobody knows who you were. And of course, that's much different now because we have social media and things, but think of it as a huge clear out. Think of it as just releasing the old that no longer serves you, but taking the lessons forward. And again, also taking what you're good at forward. What it is that makes you special, what it is that makes you unique. Capricorn is a sign associated with hard work and graft, but they know what they're good at. That's important. So I am going to go into each of the zodiac signs individually and see what it means for you. The timestamps will be listed below. Don't forget to set your intentions with the new moon. One of the ways to honor a new moon is to light a silver candle or black candles, any candles that are sort of spiritual, white, black, silver candles, but silver is the most specific to the new moon. And write out your intentions for the next 2 weeks to the next 6 months, so that when we have the full moon in Capricorn in the summer, you will feel a lot of these things have manifested for you. So I will see you in your zodiac sign below. Take care. Bye. Hi Capricorn, welcome to your segment on the new moon in your sign 2021. So what a beautiful new beginning this is for you, Capricorn, with Pluto in the mix. This is a whole new you. This is based on a point of transformation, who you want to be, transforming how you look, how you feel, how you interact, how you express yourself, and focusing on really positive self-change. With the sun in your sign conjunct Pluto, this is an energy that you've had to embrace many times because of the extended stay of Pluto in any sign. And although I will never in my lifetime experience a sun conjunct Pluto transit, I was born with it exact. So with the sun conjunct Pluto, a lot of this is based on transformation of self. And because of the sun in the equation and the new moon, this is emotionally and this is in terms of the ego. When there's a sun-Pluto conjunction, there is a death of the ego. It is a rebirth. It is letting go of what holds you back, transforming your fears, your pain into your power. And of course, with it being in your first house, especially if you're Capricorn rising, there is a superficiality attached to a new moon in your sign, because this is when you can have a makeover, for example, especially especially because Venus is in your sign. But for a lot of you, this is really where you decide to make significant changes. So this could be starting a new diet, this could be having a makeover, this could be anything that aligns you with the identity that you've grown into, especially in 2020. There has been a lot of shedding for you, and it's definitely not been easy for many Capricorns. So one thing I will say for you is take a moment to appreciate how strong and how powerful you actually are as an individual. It is a very, very unique life experience that you have based on the 2020 energies. And it has made you stronger, it has made you more powerful, but it may take a while to feel that entirely. And this new moon is a beautiful start. It's a spotlight energy. It's where you can step into yourself and be proud of who you are and who you're becoming. Because of Mars and Uranus in the mix in your 5th house, that is to do with romance, it's to do with children, it's to do with fun and joy. Because of the harmony between your energy and that energy, for a lot of you, the transformation could actually be coming through a pregnancy, through your body literally transforming through a pregnancy. You could become pregnant with this new moon. You could even adopt with this new moon. You could start a new hobby that really transforms your life. You could start something, a new romance that really enhances your life. Anything that really makes you feel happy is coming into your life at this time, and you can expect something that gives that smile back on your face and really feels quite transformative, I think, for you because of Mars and because of Venus. It is a beautiful energy, in fact. Because obviously the Aquarian energy is in the mix, it does mean that you can feel sometimes in love and in fun. You can sacrifice a lot of fun and a lot of romantic time if you feel like it's not bringing you financial security, or if it's not bringing you money, for example. This can just be a thought process in your head, something that really makes you feel as though, I don't necessarily know that this is worth it. But because of the harmonious aspects between Venus, between the new moon, and with this Mars energy, Mars and Taurus, and you know, the Taurian energy isn't talking to this new moon per se, but it is talking to Venus in your sign. So the way that I see this for you, Capricorn, is that you should really focus on what brings you joy at the same time. And it's very important that you focus on goals set for yourself rather than your children or your relationship. You know, focus on what you want to bring into your life for yourself and in this next chapter, because the next 6 months are going to bring something into your life that really changes you as a person, especially Capricorn rising. And whether that is a child or a hobby or a new relationship or a creative pursuit or just a feeling of joy that you've not had in a while, it's very important, and it's very much something you should pay attention to, something you should embrace, and something you should enjoy, because you, more than anybody, Capricorn, after the last year, deserves some happiness. So bear that in mind, and I will talk to you soon, Capricorn. Bye. Hi Aquarius, and welcome to the new moon segment for your sign. So this new moon, this transformative new moon, is happening in your 12th house, which is to do with healing, and it's to do with our soul, our healing, our psyche, everything that lurks beneath the surface. Now, because of this new moon being an aspect to Pluto, there is a commitment for you around this time to healing something within yourself, to having some kind of therapy, some kind of healing endeavor, or volunteering and helping to heal or look after somebody else. Because it's in the 12th house, and because at the same time there being an aspect between Venus and Mars, Venus being in your 12th house, Mars being in your 4th house, you could actually be helping to heal or look after a parent or a child or somebody in your family. And there is a lot of healing linked there between Venus and Mars. Now, because of it being the 12th and 4th house for you, I'm also seeing this as a new beginning in the past. So this could be revisiting an old relationship of any kind, of family, of romance, of friendship, and having a new beginning there, transforming, healing. It's an important part with Pluto in the mix to help yourself find forgiveness, because Pluto is not necessarily a forgiving energy, but it is very transforming and about letting things go. And when you let go of something with Pluto in the mix, you surpass your own ego and you heal more as a result, because healing is hard to get to if the ego is in the way. And the ego is fear. It's fear of the change. It's fear of the power that you can have within yourself that you're really accessing around this time in terms of your healing. You're really feeling more powerful, and something in your world has shifted. An unspoken conversation is spoken, or an unspoken feeling comes to light, and it gives you a really strong sense of power, or taking back your power, or it pushes you to do that, especially where the past is concerned. Because due to the clashing energy between Jupiter in your sign and Taurus being your sector of family and home, you're really trying to break away from the past, and you're being pushed to do so. But sometimes to break away from the past, we have to address it, we have to heal it, we have to understand it or forgive it. So again, this can be in family, this can be in relationships, because the fourth house is to do with past, it's to do with the Cancerian energy, what we cling to. But it is a beautiful time to work on yourself, to heal yourself, to go to therapy, to go to Reiki. Actually, the lady that does Reiki for me is an Aquarius. I strongly recommend it. It's a very spiritual, very magical experience. So Reiki healing, hypnotherapy, seeing a therapist of any kind, anything to do with healing the self is very important, especially because you are being pushed with Mars in your family sector and your past sector to see who you are in terms of your family, but also to see who you are in terms of the way the past has defined you. Pluto being in Capricorn for you has been so much to do with processing feelings that were painful, processing past emotions and past experiences, and really working through them. Having spiritual awakenings, for example, is a big theme for many Aquarian people, really beginning a new process. And it's exploring your subconscious mind, healing from that in order to create the new. Because in 2020, chances are for many Capricorns, Aquarius, they were confronted with the past. They were confronted with their fears. They were confronted with old wounds, old energies, old relationships, all this stuff coming up in order for you to have this new beginning. It's been a long period of process, a long drawn out period of thought, of consideration and of healing, and you're really tapped in around this time. So your dreams may be significant, your intuition may be heightened, and if you are in any profession that is to do with healing, your spidey senses are alive around this new moon. So do make the most of that, but don't forget that the past is knocking on your door a little bit, and it's important to know the difference between fear and intuition. If it's a gut feeling, it's likely intuition. If it's a sickly heart palpitations type feeling, it's likely fear. Make sure that you can understand the difference in order to have a new beginning that's based on power. That's all I have for you, Aquarius. I'll see you soon. Bye. Hi Pisces, this is your new moon in Capricorn reading. So Pisces, this new moon is occurring in your 11th house, which is of course an energy you have much experience with in the last year. And so this is a new beginning for you in terms of your friendships, in terms of your groups, in terms of your humanitarian values, your charitable values, helping others, being open-minded, being tolerant. But this is also to do with your hopes and wishes. Okay, so in 2020, Pisceans, especially Pisces rising, were really asked to get to grips with what they were aspiring for, what they were hoping to be, who they were hoping to become in terms of the internet, in terms of groups, in terms of your calling, what it is that you really wanted for your future. And because of Saturn being in the mix and Jupiter being in the mix, it could feel at times like things were either falling at your feet or absolutely crumbling beneath your feet. Things were being given and pulled away and given and pulled away. And really a lot of it has been to do with how you've been vibrating, how you've been feeling, what you've been wanting for yourself. And with that kind of energy in the mix, it's important to understand that there's a bit of confusion there for sure, but this is your new beginning to bring you that clarity. This is the new beginning to understand what it is for yourself that you want to manifest, especially in terms of your relationships with groups of people. You know, in terms of social media, for example, you may decide that you want to have a career online on the internet, or you may decide that you want to step away completely from the internet. You may just simply reevaluate your relationship with the online, with the internet spheres. It is very much to do with broadening your network, and you could really meet some very transformative and important friendships. And I know I keep throwing the word transformative around, but what I mean by that is that for you in friendships, you could come across and become acquainted with some very like-minded individuals, or individuals who really help you change your mind, change your perspective, and broaden your horizons. It could also bring you an energy of tolerance, more open-minded energy, and a feeling of acceptance. They might also put you in the right path. So if you decide around this new moon that you have a specific dream, you have something that you want to accomplish in this lifetime, you have a career goal in mind, network. You will find that in manifesting like-minded individuals, connections, you can grow and transform whatever wish or whatever aspiration it is that you're seeking to grow. The thing about this new moon with Pluto in the equation Pisces, though, is that you have to let go of the ego. Let go of the need to be something to everyone else. Be more focused on connecting with people in terms of your dreams, rather than competing with people, rather than being something to them. You know, connect with them on a group level, because we're shifting into Aquarian energy anyway. The collective, the world is focused more on groups rather than the individual being in power, rather than the hierarchical structure. So even if you want a career on the internet, be focused on networking if it's something you're not open to. Be focused on collaborating. Be focused to in friendships. Be more open-minded. You could really find some very unusual or quirky people come into the mix around this time. In terms of romance and the Venus-Mars trine, one of the things that I'm sort of getting for you is that because of the 11th third house connection to this, you could find yourself, if you're single, you could meet somebody online, you could meet somebody through a friend, or if you're currently in a relationship, you can really manifest with your person in terms of words, in terms of the way that you speak to each other, in terms of, you know, some very interesting conversations for you could come up in love, and some really significant wishes could come true for you again in love, thanks to the Venus in Capricorn aspect, if that's what you're looking for. But also keeping in mind the Taurian aspects of this, that if it is in your, Taurus is your third house, there is a need to express yourself authentically, and you may find yourself putting out some very abrupt words if you feel challenged or threatened, because there is the conjunction between Mars and Uranus. Try to be more thoughtful and articulate about what you say rather than just pushing it out, and don't speak when you're angry. You know, don't speak when you feel backed into a corner or feel trapped. This new moon is a time for you to really move past the ego in terms of what other people think, and in terms of standing in your own way, manifesting your dreams. So that is what I have for you, Pisces, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Aries, welcome to your new moon in Capricorn segment. So Aries, this new moon for you is a new start in career. It is a new start in terms of your goals. You may have a career advancement, you may change career path, you may change job, you may have some interesting dealings with a superior. You're being watched, basically, whenever the new moon is in your 10th house, whenever it is to do with your career. You will be in the spotlight in terms of your fame or your reputation. And it really is a time for you to set some new career goals. There will be conversations about your career goals, maybe with a superior, maybe with a boss, or maybe if you're self-employed, you're really establishing a new trajectory for yourself. For many of you, this is a very auspicious time to start a new job in the next 2 weeks. It is also a very auspicious time to look for a new job if that's something that you're focused on doing. Basically, starting a new career path for yourself, Aries, at this time is very well indicated, because Pluto is there, meaning that there is a really strong sense of advancement, a really strong sense of power. This could be your route to being self-employed. This could be your route to being CEO, whatever this is for you. It's a very busy time. It's a very good time to be work focused. Really dedicate yourself to honing your craft, to learning about your career, and to choosing a career path as well. You might actually do something very, very shocking to most people, especially if it is a change in money. With Mars and Uranus both being in Taurus, Mars being your ruler, you're more dedicated, you're more driven to make more money. So a new career under this time is likely to make you more money. But it may also, there may be some surprises there, basically, with Uranus being in the mix. You know, you could very suddenly move up in money. You could very suddenly come into money. But due to the Aquarian energy with the 11th house and the clash between Aquarian and Taurian energy, Aries, at this time, be mindful of lending money, or be mindful of helping a friend out, or be mindful of investing in a group or something religious or something like that. You know, just be mindful of where you are investing your money, because with Saturn in the 11th house and Jupiter in the 11th house clashing with your sector of money, you know, you could be surrounding yourself with people, for example, who have a poverty mindset, who are pushing out negative information to you in terms of your career and in terms of money. You may encounter some jealousy from friends or even colleagues surrounding your new career path or your new trajectory. You may also find that if you are studying, there is a bit of tension in terms of how much time you have for work and how much time you have for study. So there could be a bit of a financial clash there that you have to iron out, and it might require some adjustments that could be somewhat frustrating to you. But because Venus is beautifully aspecting your ruler Mars, and Venus is in your career sector, you really have an ability to impress people in the workplace, especially your superiors, and people can really think very highly of you. You may learn around this new moon that people think very highly of you, or if you're not being appreciated because of Mars and Uranus in the mix, you may be tempted to just put up a boundary and just keep people at arm's length and distance yourself with certain people if they have a very negative attitude. You know, the people you surround yourself are very important with your goals, because if they're discouraging, if they are not supportive, you can really find yourself being you know, sidelined or not putting yourself forward. It can really affect your confidence being in the mix there, with especially with Mars and Uranus in your money sector. If you're not feeling confident, you might suddenly spend more money. And really at this point, if you're spending money, it's best spent in terms of career advancement, you know, courses, new clothing, or whatever it is that makes you feel powerful. It really is a very busy 2 weeks to work towards your long-term goals and get very certain of what they are, Aries, because this is a powerful new moon to begin anything in terms of career and in terms of work. So that is what I have for you, Aries. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Taurus, welcome to your new moon in Capricorn segment. So Taurus, this is falling in Capricorn, your 9th house of the higher self. This is a beautiful new moon to access your higher self, your higher energies through learning, through philosophy, through law, through research. Really a time to expand your mind, to commit to a new course of study, to learn about a certain philosophy, to learn about another culture. Typically, this is a new moon where if it falls in your 9th house, you would be looking at holidays and you would be looking at travel. And for you, you know, depending on the astrology, I'm not quite sure where travel lies this year. I feel like it has peaks of expansion and then it has peaks of contraction. So in terms of booking a holiday or travel, it's important that if that's something you really want this year, to put it on your vision board and to stay open-minded about it. But not become too attached necessarily. But it is a beautiful time to really learn about other cultures in general, to watch documentaries, to learn about law, to learn about justice even, to write papers, to write articles, to make videos, to really be creative with your mind, because your mind at this new moon, Taurus, will be quite restless. You'll really be focused on the information that you can accumulate and the things that you can learn. If you're not necessarily, it can be indicative of a block. But really what I'm seeing for you, Taurus, is that this new moon provides new information for you, new perspectives for you that can really actually transform you. And because as well we have Mars and Uranus in your 1st house, and Uranus is so much, it's the awakener. you're really having a bit of an awakening in terms of your energy expenditure, what you're putting your energy into. Anything that Uranus touches, it awakens. And when it's in your first house, it's awakening who you are. It's awakening your perspectives. It's changing your perspectives. You know, I remember whenever Uranus first went into Taurus, the Queen of England, who is a Taurus, for the first time ever came to social media. You know, very shortly after, she tweeted, I think, for the first time, or she had somebody tweet for her, but the royals were always very against social media. That completely changed when Uranus went into Taurus. So for you, what you do can surprise people. Now, because of the beautiful link between Venus in Capricorn and Mars in Taurus, Venus being your ruler, you could find love with somebody overseas. A long distance relationship could come up for you in your life if you're single, or you could be planning to travel with a significant other, or you and a significant other could be learning to cook, you know, exotic foods. You could be learning about histories, or you could be learning about philosophy together. But there's a beautiful link there with Venus. And chances are, with Venus being in Capricorn, if you felt like there is a block to love, and because of this new moon with Pluto, if there has been a block to love in your life, Taurus, it really is to do with your mindset. And I know that sounds annoying, and I know that sounds you know, frustrating in some degrees, but is it though? Because if a lot of it is to do with your belief system, your core beliefs, those are things that you can actually change, you know, rather than feeling like these blockages are happening to you. And especially in terms of university and study and higher education, if you've been experiencing blockages there, this is a beautiful new beginning for you to get very clear on what you need from education, what you need from you know, your course of study. There could be very significant changes going on for you there, but I feel like they're positive. You know, with the clash between your first house and the Aquarian energy, there's an accent of a stressor. You know, there is a friction between your career, your long-term goals, and yourself. And chances are, Taurus, that if blocks are coming up there, it's because something's out of alignment. And if you look to the new moon, and you look to the true node, you know, second house and ninth house, it very much is to do with what you value and what you believe. So if you're having trouble, Taurus, in any area of your life, you have to look to your values and your belief system and your mindset. And this is a beautiful new moon to transform that mindset, to really get a new philosophy, more Hakuna Matata type energy. So that is what I have for you, Taurus. I hope you have a beautiful new moon. I'll see you soon. Bye. Hi Gemini, welcome to your new moon in Capricorn reading. So this new moon is indeed quite a reset for you. The reason being is that Capricorn is your 8th house. So to have Pluto in the mix in a conjunction with this new moon gives a really deep transformation, one that you may feel is almost make or break. You may feel very overwhelmed with emotions, or you may feel a courage and a fearlessness in an area of life where you've not felt that fearlessness and that courage. You're so ready for change with this new moon. You're so ready to begin again, especially in energies surrounding the typical 8th house terrain, such as death, taxes, inheritance, intimacy. And that's not to say with this new moon, you know, that there's going to be a death and you're going to inherit a lot of money. It's not to say that. That's very cookie cutter astrology, but really what this is for you, Gemini, is a very personal, very deep transformation of self, where you can rise again after challenges financially and challenges in your relationship in the last year, or challenges surrounding relationships. This is really a new start for you to understand what it means to merge with somebody, especially regarding, you know, what is personal, what is primal, feelings of jealousy, feelings of possessiveness, feelings of connection with another. This is a wonderful new moon to embrace more intimacy in your relationship, more honesty, more authenticity, deeper connections. And also in terms of money, it's a wonderful new moon to start a financial plan. Making some kind of request for a loan or financial backing or a new business is very much indicated with a new moon in the 8th house. Because Pluto is in the mix, and because Pluto is the ruler of the 8th house, and this is your 8th house new moon, I think, Gemini, that the change that is happening for you is very, very deep. I think it really goes quite far down. I think you're changing on a cellular level. I think in terms especially of relationships, but also in terms of grief. You know, the last year was very challenging for a lot of people. And if you've suffered grief, or even if you've suffered grief in your lifetime, that can really be, you know, it can really hurt your heart chakra. You can feel really locked and really closed off. And for a lot of you with this new moon, you may be experiencing a bit of heart pain, a bit of chest pain, a bit of a heart chakra awakening, and releasing some trapped feelings in order to begin that healing process, in order to begin that connection. You know, the 8th house is also a death of the ego. We often think with physical death, it's the 12th house. This is death of the ego. That would be the 8th house. And the ego is what keeps us stuck, but it's also, you know, it's what keeps us safe. You know, you're the twins, you understand the duality of the ego. It keeps us safe, but it also keeps us stuck. And in some ways, you may be committing to that fearlessness, to that courage in order to progress forward, where the ego has held you back in some way, where you've been afraid of changing fundamentally some area of your life or some area of your relationship. It could also be indicative of a spouse or a partner starting a new job or coming into some money or something like that, because the 8th house is oftentimes joint resources. So you may be hearing news more so about other people's money that could have an impact on your life. As well as that, with Venus being in that sector, though, it's pretty harmonious. You know, Venus being in Capricorn at the moment is really giving you this grace in connecting with other people, especially in an intimate level. And you know, it's connection, it's trine to Taurus in your 12th house, Gemini, is really very healing. When there's a trine between the 8th and the 12th house, it's a deep process whereby we understand our psychological yearnings, our psychological programming, why we do certain things, that we reflect and think, you know, maybe the reason I keep repeating this issue in my relationships is because of this event that happened when I was young, and how can I work with that? How can I reframe it? How can I reconnect with myself past the point of just getting into relationships where you're not in love, you're in trauma, or financially trying to continuously throw money at a problem when you realize it's just not actually something you want to invest in anymore. Those type of themes can come up around this new moon, and with that you begin a new process of that connection, making sure these connections to your money, to other people's money, to your relationship, making sure they're authentic and they're really based on a place of truth. You have some deep healing going on at the moment. The only issue is with your 12th house and 9th house having a bit of a clash, your subconscious mind is fighting against a new belief system. And so there's some ego battles going on there, but you can completely move past this. You know, Mars is in Taurus, it's your 12th house. You can do a lot of subconscious work, a lot of subconscious healing, and really move mountains and really set yourself free. Because with Uranus being there, that's where your awakening is. And although your awakening may be clashing with some philosophy, some even education that you've received, you can break free from that and really embrace what feels best for you. So that's all I have for you, Gemini. Take care. Bye. Hi, Cancer. Welcome to your new moon in Capricorn reading. So this new moon is falling in your 7th house of relationships and partnerships, and it is conjunct Pluto, which has been there for quite a while. So Cancer, this is all about making positive changes and new beginnings in your relationships, be they with a business partner, a marriage partner, somebody that you have contracts with, that you share contracts with, your relationships. The beautiful thing I think about this new moon, in particular for you and your partnerships, is that Venus is in Capricorn, and Venus is, you know, Venus is all about love, it's all about harmony, it's all about romance, and with its connection to Mars being in Taurus, which for you is your wish fulfillment sector, and Uranus being there, you're really, because anything that Uranus touches awakens. Uranus is kind of awakening for you, Cancer, what it is that you wish for in a partnership. It's absolutely a process of knowing what your goals and your dreams and your ideals are in terms of your relationships, and how in a particular relationship, if it's in your life right now or if it's manifesting in the future, where you want it to go. Because of the clash with the 8th house energy, there's an issue, I think, a little bit, Cancer, with sharing. Something shared with a partner, or a fear of sharing something in a relationship. It could be a fear, for example, of getting married and losing a lot of money if it ends, divorce. It could be a fear of getting into a relationship and them having to share a certain secret about yourself that you've kept from people, be it a trauma, be it an experience, or be it something, a shame feeling. There's something holding you back, and this new moon is really asking you to transform from that to have a new beginning that's based on your ideals and what it is that you want from a relationship, what it is that you want from your next relationship or your current relationship, how you want it to flourish. It is a beautiful new beginning, and chances are where there is, where a lot of you have stepped out of a relationship, it may have been to do with the fact that on an ideological or a political level even, you maybe weren't matched so much. There was maybe a lot of things that were said, a lot of things that didn't work out. So a lot of you could be very shy of relationships in terms of, what you can negotiate. This is a beautiful time for negotiation. This is a beautiful time for a new beginning of fairness. So if you've been through relationship troubles, they can actually be, resolved through fairness and a commitment to justice in this case, because the 7th house is very much to do with fairness, negotiation, communicating, and equalizing. This is all about meeting someone on an equal level. So your new beginning here is very much to do with love. And if it's something you're wanting to manifest, or you're wanting to manifest a new phase in a relationship or heal a relationship with Pluto in the mix, it's very much to do with having something that is deep, it's truthful, and it fits the next cycle of your life. It has to be based on positive changes forward. Where relationships have completely become outgrown for many Cancerians, you may notice that there could be separations there for people if it's not been working for a very long time. That's just what happens whenever we have clashes between Saturn and Uranus coming up, in your intimate sector and your higher self. If it's not serving your higher self, Cancer, you may notice things start to move, so things start to dissipate. But it is welcoming in a new change. With the new moon conjunct Pluto, it's very much associated with new soul contracts, new deeper meaningful type relationships with deeper meaning, with deeper purpose even. So this is a beautiful new moon to manifest love or a partnership or a business relationship that is solid, getting very clear on what it is that you want from that area of life. You will have learned in 2020 either what you wanted or what you didn't want, and it's now time for the next chapter. So I'll talk to you soon, Cancer. Bye. Hi Leo, welcome to your segment on the new moon in Capricorn 2021. So Leo, well-being is your focus for this new moon. How you feel emotionally, mentally, and physically. How are you feeling? Because this is a new moon with so much power to transform your health and your well-being. Because of Pluto being in the equation, there is huge potential for change. And if you're committing to having a healthier body, having a healthier mindset, or having a healthier emotional life, this is the new moon to start those manifestations. This is the new moon to commit to something, because chances are 6 months down the lines, you will have made big changes. That is the energy with Pluto. You could actually, for a lot of you, be beginning some kind of fitness journey where your body transforms dramatically, or you could be starting therapy and you could notice your emotional life becomes so much more healthy as a result. You could be eating a better diet and notice that certain physical ailments start to subside. Obviously, this isn't medical advice, but this is a beautiful new moon to begin a new health journey if your doctor approves it. You know what I mean? I'm not a doctor. I'm just telling you the astrology. So this is a beautiful new time to transform anything in that area, including work. So your day-to-day routine, your day-to-day job, that all comes under this new moon. It is a beautiful time to look for work, to start a new job, to change your job, but obviously not, on a whim. It isn't a good idea to just throw in your notice, because Mars and Uranus are in your long-term sector. Mars being in your long-term sector is fantastic. It gives you energy there. It gives you drive there. It gives you momentum. Uranus, when Mars connects with it, can be kind of impulsive, and it can kind of just poof, say I'm done with this, I'm over this, and just go out on a whim. Not that that's always a bad thing, because sometimes that can align you with what you want, but it's important that if you're not in the space financially where you can do that, don't do it. Mars is asking you to put more energy into it, and Uranus is kind of asking you for more freedom. So you need a lot of space in your work life at the moment, but you also need a lot of confidence. Now, with Uranus being there, a lot of you might decide with this new moon that you want to set out on a journey of being self-employed and start planting the seeds to get that going. All of that is highlighted for you. And with the Venus aspect, Venus is aspecting Mars, and this is really beautiful because this is in your 6th and 10th house respectively, meaning that there is a lot of harmony and alignment and good fertile soil to set some intentions for your career and for your job. The challenge is that the Aquarian energy, your partnership zone, and I'm going to read this very specifically to do with business because it's connecting with your 10th house of career. You may find that there is a business negotiation or a business relationship that's feeling kind of tense, where you're looking for a bit more freedom from that person. You're looking from a bit more space. You maybe want a bit more autonomy. There's a need with that stubbornness to find compromise, because whenever your 7th house is aspected and it's challenged, when you find compromise, you have such good results. So that is something to bear in mind, is be adaptable, be compromising. Because we are leading up to a full moon in your sign, which is going to be very much to do with you. It's going to put you in the spotlight. It is a beautiful full moon in many ways and a challenging full moon in another. For now, this is a wonderful time to get organized, to organize your house, your living space, Marie Kondo your drawers, clean everything out, do a spring clean, generate some space. If you're looking to attract something into your life, if you're looking to attract a person, for example, clear out a drawer for them. If you're looking to attract a new job, clear out some old paperwork or old documents from your old job. If you're looking to attract anything, make space for it in your living space. Making sure that your living space is clean and tidy so that your mind represents it. This is very holistic. This is very much to do with well-being, mind, body, and soul. Some of you may be doing a juice cleanse. Some of you may be committing to becoming a Reiki healer, for example. All of this is aspected and wonderful for your transformation under this new moon. So I'll see you soon, Leo. Bye. Hi Virgo, welcome to the new moon in Capricorn 2021 for your sign. I love this new moon for you. Mercury is going in retrograde, it's already getting me. New moon in Capricorn is fantastic for you. I love this because it is the new beginning. It is the new energy in your sector of fun and happiness and pleasure and excitement and drama. And I love this for you because in 2020 you had Saturn restricting you so much with Pluto in this sector, taking away the fun in life, taking away the romance in life, especially if you were Virgo rising, just feeling like nothing was moving. You weren't feeling creative, or you weren't feeling joy, or just you were feeling those things but on a lower level, not that full heart kind of feeling. The 5th house is the heart. So what I'm seeing for you, Virgo, is a lot more fun coming into your life with this new moon, a lot more energy, hobbies, creativity, especially in terms of healing. So the reason that I'm saying that is because in terms of healing, Virgo, healing your mindset, your higher self, we have Mars and Uranus in Taurus, your sector of the higher self, and where Uranus is, you typically have a bit of an awakening. And at the moment, because it's connecting with your 5th house, you could really experience a bit of an awakening through a creative habit or a creative passion or a pursuit or a romance, okay? You could really receive some type of higher self feeling. Do any of these things. You could be doing music therapy, art therapy, drama therapy, connecting with others creatively, spending more time with your children, or because of that 9th house aspect, healing your inner child, healing, who you were as a child and getting back into that energy of fun and being carefree and being silly. Difficulty, as is always, you know, the Aquarian energy that's clashing with your higher self. So basically, the more you try to expand your mind, the more busy life seems to be, the more that you need to be doing, the more that you need to be organizing the details, your day job, that kind of thing could really be pushing at you. And because these are squares in a fixed sign, it's about finding an adaptability to work with it. Where do you need to be a bit more flexible? Maybe you need to be a bit more open-minded. Maybe you need to have a few more conversations without jumping the gun, without moving towards saying something sharp when you feel like somebody's challenging you. Maybe you need to be more open to the other person's perspective. Or on the flip side, maybe you just need to have a bit more of a carefree attitude to certain things and be more open to having a laugh and not feeling so serious. And I think for the moment, Virgo, you're actually going to be starting to experience that, or anytime just before this new moon, where you start to feel like you don't want to feel sad, you don't want to feel heavy, you kind of just want to laugh for a moment, you know, release yourself from some of the heavier feelings of 2020, because with so much in Capricorn last year, yes, it could really help you grow. It's a fellow earth sign, it's compatible. But it can, from especially what I've known from doing astrological readings for people, Virgo risings in particular have really felt this lack of love in the last year, or this lack of intimacy or connection, or just that joy, as I said. You know, maybe it's different for Virgo suns, but I was talking to a Virgo sun yesterday that has always been very introverted, and they said they just want to have a party. They just so badly want to have a party. And obviously with lockdown and things, it's not so easy. But that introverted Virgo is now making a point of reaching out to people online and having conversations and whatnot. And so even the most introverted Virgo, or the most shy Virgo, just wants to have a little bit more fun around this new moon. So you can manifest love, you can manifest fun, you might manifest a baby if that's something you're interested in, because it's 5th house energy. But I think it's really beautiful new moon for you, Virgo. And I think if you could just make the manifestation that you want to attract more joy in your life, that is the best starting point that you can come from. Talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Libra, welcome to your new moon in Capricorn segment. So Libra, this new moon is following in your 4th house, which is to do with home, it's to do with family, and it's to do with the past a little bit as well. So this new moon for you is a new beginning, is a transformation in those areas. So you could be deciding to move, to sell, to buy, to redecorate, or renovate your living space, your physical home. You may be deciding to decorate one room, and because of Pluto, it could lead to a much bigger job than you're anticipating. A lot of transformation, a lot of rebirth and fresh energy into this side of the sky for you. In 2020, you had many lessons in that area. You had many lessons to do with your home, with your family, the relationships in your family. You may have spent more time at home. Obviously, everybody did. But you may have had some significant changes there. Now, those changes have taught you something. And this new moon is about planting the seeds of what it is that you want to change in those areas. Now, this could be to do with your family relationships. There could be a significant change going on in your home. Somebody could be moving out, somebody could be moving in, somebody could be getting married, for example. There's a connection between the Capricorn energy and the Taurus energy. Taurus being your 8th house of intimacy and shared resources. So there's a harmony there between your family and your shared resources. So there could be issues to do with there could be events surrounding money and redecorating and the family home, that type of thing. There could also be to do with those areas. There could also be a lot of healing for you in terms of your attachment style, in terms of childhood wounds, in terms of your upbringing, or in terms of breaking away a little bit from the way things used to be. You know, how you parent yourself as an adult, for example. You could have some changes to the way that you treat yourself, or the way that you work with yourself whenever you're sad, or whenever you have a need that needs to be fulfilled, for example. Because of the Pluto aspect, I think there could be a little bit of nostalgia for many of you about the past, maybe surrounding a relationship from the past, maybe feeling a little bit of sadness or regret or wonder around this energy. And you may feel with Mercury going retrograde in your sector of romance that you could be putting yourself back into a past relationship, or you could be reconnecting with someone from a past relationship, that type of thing. there's a bit of a clash there. The reason that I say that is because the Aquarian energy of your love life, of your creativity, is going to be feeling some friction with your intimacy zone. So because those two aren't in alignment, you may be reconsidering, is this a relationship that's based on depth, on good feeling? Who's really there for me? Who supports me? Who is good for my well-being? Is this based in compatibility, or what is this actually based on? You're really seeking something deeper, something supportive. So if you are reconnecting with somebody, that's just something that's at the forefront of your mind. Do we share the same values? Do we share together? Are there secrets? Are there deep primal intuitive feelings of no? So there's those type of things coming up around this new moon. You want to have a new start in your past. So for a lot of you, this is to do with healing attachment trauma. If you're anxiously attached, if you're avoidant, dismissive, that type of thing, you could have gained a lot of knowledge in that over the last year. Certainly if you were watching my horoscopes, I talked about that for you a lot. So this is a new moon in terms of healing the past, really, is a big theme of this. Healing family dynamics, healing parent-child relationships, particularly the relationship with the mother, etc. Other things happening around this new moon with Mars and Uranus being in your intimacy sector, you're having a bit of an awakening there. Uranus gives you an awakening whatever it touches, and it's touching your intimate sector and it's touching your romantic sector. So you're having some very interesting downloads about what you want for the future, Libra, and these are very important. So make sure that the changes that you are manifesting, the visions you're having for your next 6 months are based on a point of understanding what you've learned over the last year in terms of love and relationships, and also in terms of family and the past. So there's a lot going on for you at the moment, Libra. Have a beautiful new moon, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Scorpio, welcome to your new moon in Capricorn reading. So this is happening in your 3rd house, your voice, your communication and your listening skills. So Scorpio, you could be around this time having some very interesting conversations, especially in love and partnerships. The reason that I say that is because Pluto, your ruler, is in the mix. Pluto is transforming the way you communicate, the way you articulate. And over the last few years, with Saturn being there, you've really learned how important your voice is, how hard it is to say certain things, how hard it is to communicate certain things, and how hard it is to speak your authentic truth at times. Because with Saturn, you just sometimes were met with such resistance. It was actually hard to progress. Now we have the new moon, and now we have Pluto, which is transforming that energy. You've learned a lot about your voice, and you've learned a lot about your listening skills and how to have authentic conversations. The reason I say that a lot of this is to do with romance is because Venus in this sector is connecting with Mars in Taurus. Mars being your relationship sector at the moment. Taurus is your relationships, your partnerships. With Mars being your traditional ruler, you're more focused on putting your energy into your partnerships, into your relationships, and really having a feeling of deeper connection, deeper commitment, and deeper intimacy. And Venus, because Venus is so beautiful and graceful in your communication sector, is allowing you those conversations, is allowing you that energy, that flow, that depth to express just how it is that you feel. And if you're looking to manifest it, it's about speaking it into existence. Okay, if you're looking to manifest that type of love and energy. What I will say is this: the challenge around this new moon is the Aquarius energy and the Taurus energy together. Your past, Scorpio, with Saturn and Jupiter in your sector of the past and your home and your family, yes, this can manifest as clashes between your partnership and your residence. That, of course, can be most obviously due to lockdown, being separated from people, that kind of thing. Or it can be that you're with someone your family doesn't like, or you're worried about, meshing the two, that kind of thing. For most people, I see it as being the restrictions of lockdowns, etc. But it also can manifest on a psychological level as where your past is sort of causing a few frictions in your relationship. And of course, the key to any fixed sign clash is to be flexible, It is to be more adaptable. It is to see things from the other person's perspective. Now, if you're with someone where there's something you simply can't let go, that could really come to a head at this time in order for it to be vocalized and a direction or a decision to be manifested. You know, with this new moon, the feeling is that you could be receiving a lot more messages than usual. You could be having a lot more conversations than usual. If you're in any kind of profession that uses emailing or sales or that type of thing, these could really be very heightened around this time. You could be receiving a lot of messages. You could be hearing from a lot of people from the past as well, especially your childhood, thanks to Mercury going retrograde at the end of the month in Aquarius and the shadow period before that. What I will say is this, Scorpio, it's really very busy. Is that around a new moon in Capricorn, you can be really very busy. Your mind can get really heavy. And I would say this is a throat chakra energy. You know, this is where your heart and your mind have to have a bridge between them. And so speaking what's on your mind or speaking what's in your heart is important for you to keep the flow of energy going. If you're noticing a bit of a block, it's because something's not being communicated or something's not flowing properly. So this new moon is a beautiful time to manifest healthy conversations, healing conversations, confidence in speaking your truth, and also better listening skills, because it is an exchange. It isn't just all designed for us to receive. It's about giving back as well. So really the conversations you can have around this new moon are very important, Scorpio. They could be very transformative. They could generate some very impactful elements in your life coming up in the next 6 months, because it's your ruler Pluto. It's very important that you choose words and you choose thoughts that are based on your greater good, because the chances of them manifesting are high. So don't be throwing out venom, don't be throwing out poison, sarcasm. You know, speak impactfully and you'll have a lot of success at this new moon. So I'll talk to you soon, Scorpio. Bye. Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your new moon in Capricorn segment. So Sagittarius, this new moon is happening in your second house of disposable income, of money, and it is aspecting Pluto, the great transformer. So I feel for you that there is going to be, with this new moon, you may come into a new opportunity to make money. You may have a pay rise. You may manifest more money. You may have an idea to make more money. Or you may just simply have that desire. Now, with Mars and Uranus being in your 6th house of work, one of the ways I see this manifesting for you is that you have a lot more energy to put into your work, to put into your routine, especially if it's a day job type energy, putting more investment there, working harder. And with Uranus in the mix, even if Uranus can be a bit shocking or surprising, or it can be quite frustrating for people, Uranus actually awakens whatever it's touching. For you, Sagittarius, it's touching a couple of things. It's in your sector of work and routine. So you may be having some very significant downloads there. You may be having some very significant ideas about your health, your wealth, your fitness, and how your work ethic is going. With Uranus, you may be looking for a bit more independence, though. You know, you may be looking for a bit more independence, a bit more self-value. So because of the 2nd house and 6th house being in the equation, there is a potential, Sagittarius, that you may be looking to branch out in your career, to start a side hustle, for example, something you can do alongside your career, and something that you might want to make money from on the side. You know, disposable income, having more money than you usually would. This is a beautiful new moon to manifest new money, to really work through some blockages, because there is a tension going on around this new moon with the Aquarian and the Taurian energy. Now, Aquarius for you is very harmonious. Your ruler Jupiter is in Aquarius, but that's going to be clashing with your routine and where you want more independence in your routine. So for you, it's very much to do with wanting to push out certain words, wanting to say certain things, get certain things off your chest. If I were you, I would focus more on your financial plan, your money, having your mind on your long-term financial future, rather than reacting impulsively, especially if people at work, they could be quite testy around this time. and you want to make sure that you're focusing on the seeds that you're sowing. So staying out of conflict is important because you don't want to manifest more of that in your life. Staying out of gossip of other people's business, because around this new moon, it's not just about money, it's about confidence, self-confidence, where you feel you're most powerful. Pluto is a very powerful planet. And for a lot of you in 2020, you may have felt many circumstances, many developments took away your personal power and stripped you of a bit of confidence at times too. And now that Jupiter, your ruler, is in a much more harmonious sign for you than Capricorn was, you have an ability to speak with confidence, to speak with conviction. But because Saturn's there, it sometimes takes a while to find your feet, and sometimes you want to hold back, and sometimes you should. But making sure that when you do speak, it's coming from a place of authenticity and confidence and not fear, and not being backed into a corner and feel like you need to stand your truth. Because sometimes when there's a clash, if I see a really significant clash with your third house, I often feel like you can self-sabotage. I feel like you can rise to things. I feel like you can be antagonized. And it can be very unfair of how it manifests if you've been pushed into a corner and you just say the truth, but the truth doesn't come out right. We're going to have a retrograde with Mercury, sector of communication, in your communication sector. So really spending this new moon getting to grips with feeling worthy, feeling important, having affirmations of confidence will stop you saying anything that is not yours to say, where you've been pushed unfairly. Making sure that anything you do say this month is impactful and positively reflecting who you are on the inside is important, Capricorn, Sagittarius. So set those intentions around this new moon in order to be confident, to feel worthy, and to feel enough as you are. That's all I have for you. Take care. Bye.